What's up, Internet? Current 1776 here with Daniel, 1983?
82, thank you.
82. Okay, so he's a year older than I thought. Sorry.
Battle Dan. We'll roll with that.
Battle Dan. So we're continuing on with our bug out / adventure vehicle, emergency preparedness vehicle, whatever. You can call it whatever you want, I guess. And they're kind of multi-purpose. Bug out
yeah.
or adventure, whatever you want to do.
BOVs.
Yeah, so this is video 2 of the series, and now we're going to introduce you to Daniel's ride here. The first video was of my pickup truck, right, which is more of a everyday driver kind of scenario, newer vehicle scenario. This thing kind of brings it up a few notches.
Right. Well, Brandon made a good point. We were talking about doing this series with adventure vehicles. Like, well, not everybody, can necessarily go out and buy an alternative vehicle. So what if they wanted to use their current one and be able to use it as a bug out vehicle, adventure vehicle? And that's what you did with yours, which we went over in a previous video. And today we're going to talk about this thing here. If you've been following us for a long time or for a while, we've had this for about a year and a half. It's a 1982 custom 6-wheel drive Jeep Wagoneer. As you can see, you've never seen anything like it.
Yep.
Why? Because I think it's the only one out there.
Yeah, that's like true custom.
Yeah. So full locking 6-wheel drive, front and rear steering. We'll go over all the details as far as that goes. We did not do the customization on it, and finding any information about the guy that did is actually nearly impossible. So if you know that guy, please tell him to call me, because I want to find out more about this stuff.
Yeah.
From what I've found out thus far, it had something to do with the Rat Fink era and Ed Roth and all those guys. And this guy that built this used to work for them doing, yeah, exactly, doing all that customization. So really cool history. But in the meantime, when we dropped it off at our local Line X to our buddies over there, we decided that we wanted to add a bunch of cool new features to it. So we'll go over those here in a second. Just follow along with us, and we'll show you what it's all about.
Let's take a closer look, shall we? So if you hear any heavy breathing, it's Steve holding the camera.
All right, so starting with the front of the truck, the most notable thing that you'll recognize is these 4 7-inch aux beam laser LEDs up top. Look really awesome. I like the retro look of those big 7-inch round LEDs. It kind of goes with the theme of this 1982 truck here.
It gives that old school KC highlighter look or whatever.
Yeah. So we just upgraded it. When I bought this, it actually had some up there, but they were the old incandescent style or whatever, halogen probably.
Like a light, like a candle.
Yeah.
Compared to these.
Well, ain't nothing wrong with them old school KC halogens, but LED brought it into the modern era a little bit, and of course we added that 52-inch flood, for the brow there above the windshield. So if you've never heard of laser LEDs, it's the newest technology on the market when it comes to LEDs. These things can shine probably at least half a mile, and me and Brandon tested out last night. That we got a little adjustment to do on it and bring level them out and adjust them where we want to, but those things are freaking bright. Do not look directly at them.
Yeah, I made that mistake last night. I couldn't see for like 20 minutes.
But in terms of bugging out, it was very important to me that I had enough light, so when I'm camping, if I want to see over on that side of the vehicle or on that side of the vehicle, especially in front, so bugging out or for zombie apocalypse or whatever it is, or just general camping, I wanted enough light to just really light up the perimeter from front to back.
Yeah, it's like a football stadium.
Yeah. So those aux beam things are probably my favorite part about the entire.
Yeah, they're pretty ridiculous. Here. I got a LED bar in front of my truck, and when I left here last night, I was like, I'm gonna turn mine on. It was horrible. Like I expected it to, and I mean it's bright, but it ain't. Whew.
Yeah, I mean it really brightens up. I mean you're talking about the whole field out there lit up.
Yeah, it's nuts. So absolutely nuts.
When those old halogen bulbs go out, I can depend on those LEDs. So we added a couple more LEDs up here on the grill and some Memphis audio speakers so that you can talk to the PA system and of course play your tunes if you want to when you're out camping. So naturally we're talking about building this for a bug out vehicle, but I do want it to be a daily use kind of thing too. If we want to go camping, me and Brandon talk about going out and doing some camping on the weekends. Steve's not invited. But something that we could go out and enjoy, sit around, throw a hammock up and listen to some tunes. So that's pretty much all that we did up here. The winch and stuff was already on it. So let's work our way over to the next side.
All right.
One of the first things I wanted to do was have alternative power, and you know, 12 volt is great for some things, but when you're camping, bugging out, you got to have 110, man. So instead of having to carry, you know, a generator and gasoline and stuff like that, we put a 4,000 watt pure sine wave inverter, which we'll show you later. And I thought it would be a good idea, instead of just being able to plug devices up like laptops or cell phones or ham radios and battery, things that charge batteries on the interior, I wanted to add a way where we could have power on the exterior. So I thought this was a really cool idea. We added a singular plug here. Let's just say, as an example, you know, you're on the side of the road and you don't have any other tools with you and you need to change a tire.
Yeah. You want one of them, you know, impact wrenches that's got the cord on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeehaw.
Well, I've used cordless impact drivers, and one, the batteries die quick, but two, they're still not as powerful as a normal one. If you've got a lug nut that's not coming off, you've got to have a powerful impact wrench. So impact driver, heck, you can plug a refrigerator in. I mean, and pure sine, Brandon knows more about this stuff than I do.
Yeah.
But pure sine wave inverter is the best option. That way it's got real clean power.
Yeah. So pure, just so you know, real quick, basic, pure sine wave. Some inverters, because you're inverting DC power to AC power. Well, AC power, you know, has a real clean sine wave that you plug into your house. Some inverters, it's not a clean signal, and that could damage a refrigerator compressor, a computer or things like that. You want to have a nice clean AC signal, and that's what a pure sine wave inverter does. It's a clean signal. They filter out all the garbage or whatever.
Yep. So anyhow,
you don't want your blender messing up because you ain't got a pure sine wave. If you're making margaritas or something.
What we do, 110 or 120 volt? I guess this is 120.
Well, it's technically 120, you know, but some people call it 110. I mean, it's kind of, you know.
So there you have it. We got external power. So if we needed something in an emergency scenario, or if we just wanted to plug up a blender while we were camping, we got it right here. You can set our table up and be good to go.
Yeah, you want to have a good football tailgate? Set up the TV. There you go.
That's a great idea. If football ever comes back.
If football ever comes back, well, yeah.
And right up here on the roof rack, this thing's pretty cool. Really excited about this. We got to see these guys out at the most recent SHOT Show. So this is the DMOS shovel, DMOS, otherwise known as. But really beefy, really robust, the baddest shovel on the market, but they are not cheap. Trust me,
No.
I think these things run $300 or so by the time you get the mount and the shovel. But designed for ruggedness, designed for outdoors, and really, there we go. Really, really, really awesome heavy duty shovel. I mean, I've seen videos where they've run over these, they've stood on top of them. But really quick, easy access. I really like how it folds down and just goes right back up there.
And it's near about full size with that extending handle, which is nice. And you can use it short as well because it still locks in right there. But
Or an emergency paddle.
or 90 degree, emergency paddle, 90 degrees. You can make it 90 degrees so that you can, dig with it a little bit differently, get up underneath your tires. Really cool shovel.
Yeah.
Just got to watch your fingers. You pinch your fingers if you ain't careful. Don't want to be pinching your fingers.
How do you spell that?
Pinch, P-I-N-C-H.
So over here towards the back on the side of the truck here, again, more LED lights. These can pivot up and down. So again, if you were working on something right here, you could pivot down. You got a nice floodlight on those LEDs. Another thing I wanted to add was under-mounted LEDs so that if you did have to change a tire, you would have no problem seeing in the dark. So added all that up to the roof rack, and the most important thing is that all of the accessories are running off of 2 giant solar panels up here. You can't see them. We'll show you some close-up shots of that. But essentially, all the accessories on this vehicle are powered by those solar panels. Those solar panels go to 2 125 amp batteries that they built a custom box for and is up underneath the truck. Brandon, tell them about that, how that system works there.
So what we got under the hood is a DC to DC charger. So basically what's happening is when a truck's just sitting here normally outside, the solar panels are taking the energy going through the DC to DC charger and keeping those 2 125 AGM batteries topped off. When he's driving the vehicle, it will first do solar okay? So its primary function is to use solar. If the batteries are to a level where they can't charge very well, or there's not enough solar power going to the DC to DC charger, it will switch over and it will charge through the normal electrical system of the alternator and all that in the main compartment of the vehicle. So you got two forms of charging there, and the controller is smart enough to know that you know, which to use, and when the vehicle is off, it isolates the primary battery so that you don't ever drain anything off your starter battery, say at night running all your lights and everything. It only pulls from the two AGM batteries underneath in the truck. So that way you don't drain your battery down, and in the morning you try to crank and you can't crank your engine.
We got a lot of accessories on here too, so definitely didn't want to have to pull from the battery that starts the thing.
You want to leave that
leave it
for cranking the engine.
completely isolated. And that's a really cool system. That controller he's talking about is made by Red Arc, which is a company, I believe, based out of Australia. Like the home of all the off-road stuff.
Yeah, them Australians down there, they know all about overlanding and stuff like that. So they make an awesome electrical system and full-blown systems, everything from just simple chargers to full management systems that are ridiculous. Expensive, ridiculous.
They make some awesome adventure trailers.
Yeah,
too.
they do.
Check those out when you get a second. But here in the States, we got to make this stuff.
Yeah.
Make it work. So anyways, yeah,
At least we got one of their DC chargers.
So anyway, lights up top to give us light on the side. Lights underneath, so if we have to change a tire or see anything, you know, see if we've, you know, gotten stuck on something, we got lights underneath. And then of course, just for fun, we added some strobes just so people know when we're coming.
If you wanted to have a disco.
Why not? So a few things we added on the back. Naturally, this thing drinks a lot of gas, which probably would be a con for this type of you know, bug out vehicle, if you will. But we're working on alternative fuel. We may actually add some to the trailer so we can fill up when we're ready. Add a transfer case or something like that there. But so fuel packs, Brandon talked about that on his truck. I got them on a bunch of my 4x4 vehicles. Extremely awesome, efficient, easy to use. Always got extra fuel, water, diesel, you know, anything you want to carry. Really, they actually make one.
I mean,
they actually make one that you don't put any liquids in like that. That's actually just a survival
storage,
pod.
yeah.
You know, so you can put medical.
Yeah,
supplies in.
Roto Pack's got some cool stuff, man.
Yeah, really cool company. On my other vehicle, I've got the locking ones, which I'll probably eventually add, but they're not real cheap. They're about $60 to get those locking ones on there. So you can be, you know, feel like you can park your vehicle safely in a parking lot and stuff like that. So down here again, another exterior speaker, and of course we had to wire it up for hooking up a trailer. It didn't have any kind of wiring for that. So a regular 4-pin and then a 7-pin, so you can hook up any type of trailer. That's always handy to have. If you're gonna make that upgrade, go ahead and do it. It'll save you from having to use adapters and stuff in the future.
Right.
Again, more lights up here up top. These are on a switch inside, so we can turn those on. We can see everything on the trailer if we need to, or anything behind us. And I always, on all my vehicles, if I have any modifications done to it, I always add lights. Where are they at, Brandon? They're down there. You can't see them.
Yeah, there's lights down there.
There's more LEDs down there that are actually wired directly into the reverse on the vehicle. So when you back up, you can see exactly where you're going. Because let's be honest, those little things right there.
Yeah. Normal lights don't do the trick. Especially nowadays, even vehicles that come with backup cameras, the rear lighting sucks to see at night.
Yeah.
And backup camera, got one of them right there too.
We did add a backup camera, of course, while we were upgrading the radio and all that stuff. It was just outdated. So, and there's still a lot more stuff that is outdated that we got to upgrade. But backup camera is essential. It just kind of helps, right? And then Brandon, open that up. We'll pop a look in here.
All right.
I think it should be unlocked already.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then right here.
Full size spare, always good.
Oh yeah. Just so you can see, that's that 4,000 watt pure Sine inverter that we've got inside.
Big boy.
If we need more power, we can plug in directly on the side here. You see it comes on. This is all running off of those two giant batteries that we built the box for underneath, and those batteries of course will stay charged like we mentioned earlier with the solar panels.
And what's good about this too is it does have readout for your voltage coming into your inverter and this is your AC voltage here coming out, so you can monitor those. Be sure that once you get down to a little into the 10-volt area, your batteries aren't going to be able to feed this enough to get true 120 out. But it's great. A lot of inverters don't have that. You have no clue what your batteries are doing.
Yeah. So the last thing you'll notice back here on the bumper, we added a CB antenna. Naturally, you got to have some sort of radio for communications in the bug out vehicle. So we went with CB for now. Chose this antenna because it's lower in height and it's designed for off-road use. It's not going to snag on any bushes or tree limbs or anything like that. So we kept it below the hood level, the ceiling level of the vehicle there.
And put a clown nose on there so it don't hit the paint.
Yeah, that's what it's obviously, high lift jack, when you got an off-road vehicle, super important if you can find a place to put one of those.
Yeah.
Extremely useful. They can be a pain.
They can hurt you. You got to be careful with the high lift jacks for sure.
Yeah, so, and where Brandon's standing, you may notice we left the tires cocked a little bit. This thing, believe it or not, actually has front and rear steering, so it's uber responsive. It'll turn on a dime. It looks like it's big and bulky and probably not real good for driving, but this thing actually turns better than any other vehicle that I have.
Yeah, takes a little getting used to.
Yeah,
but it is cool.
At high speed, that butt ass end will come around on you if you're not careful. So
and the rears, what I understand is Dana 60s. All 3 axles are Dana 60s, I believe. Locking rear hubs here, so these are free for turning. Obviously, when you're in 2-wheel drive. The center axle is your drive axle, and then there's a transfer case system on the inside that we'll show you in a little bit where you can fully lock all 6 tires and be full 6-wheel drive, which is really cool.
Yep.
So that's pretty much it for the exterior,
on the
right?
outside. Yeah, we're just gonna pop in real quick and show you what the interior looks like. Nothing real special there. And then of course we mentioned before we'll work on that trailer a little bit at a time as we can. I know Brandon recently bought him one, so he's gonna be modifying.
Right now it's a hay storage trailer.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you can find those old Army trailers like them, what model?
M105A.
Any of those old Army trailers like that, get them cheap, strip them down like that one. If you want to, you don't have to. Repaint it, use it as it is, but they do make for great landscaping and yard trailers if you don't use them for anything else. But you know that they're robust,
they're solid.
They're solid. They're super heavy. You can haul anything in them.
Yeah.
And gosh, I mean, you can usually pick those up for about $1,000.
Yeah.
Can't beat.
I got mine for $600.
$600.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye out on your local, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a good place to start when building some sort of adventure trailer.
Yeah.
So.
All-purpose trailer too. So, all right, let's look on the inside.
Check out the inside. So the first thing we added was a new stereo. The last one was out of date, so this one actually does have GPS. And again, it's hooked up to that rear camera. The CB here. There we go. There's a car in 17, we've got all kind of other gauges and switches in here. We've got the 8-gauge switch for lights, accessories. Of course, you've got the some little 12-volt cigarette lighters. You got some USBs there for charging devices, and then of course you've got a voltage meter readout there so that you know how much power you still got left on your batteries. That last one there is actually for the strobes. It's just a strobe module. So right here you got your gear shifter, and then of course all the controls so that you can put this thing in 6-wheel drive. Really cool, really unique. It could go anywhere, and it's just a really awesome find when we bought this thing. One of the other things, it is push button start. It was actually already like that. It's got two fuel pumps on here, so that the fuel tank is baffled for off-road use, so that if your fuel is on one side of the tank, if you're pointing down and your other fuel pump isn't receiving fuel, you can flip from fuel pump 1 to 2 and still be able to, for your function, your vehicle to function. On top of that, what else we got, Brandon? That's pretty much it.
Yes, that's pretty much it. Need to get you a hula girl to go right
Little
there.
girl. Yeah, I mean, one thing we didn't mention.
Got sunroofs.
It does have sunroofs. Ooh, how about that? 2 of them. One thing we didn't mention is the switch under the hood that we had to where if the battery for starting the vehicle is dead for whatever reason, let's say I leave this key on and the radio on, and the battery dies, we do have a switch under the hood where we can switch it over and automatically jump start from the 2 125 amp batteries that are hooked up underneath. So that I thought was a really cool added benefit. That way you never have to mess with jumper cables. You never have to worry about your battery dying on your main starter battery. So you can always get where you need to go. You just got to have fuel and your battery always be charged, because at the very least your solar panels will be charged in your bank. Your bank, you can jump start the main battery there. So that's pretty much it. That's a total walkthrough there. You know, we got next on the list is to maybe upgrade the interior a little bit.
Yeah.
Get rid of some of this carpet and wood that was part of the custom build. See if we can bring it into the 21st century a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I must say, this thing's pretty freaking sweet.
it's fun. I mean, it's really cool. You know, it's reliable. It's got all the bells and whistles that I wanted to add to it. I'm sure I'm going to come up with some more stuff and add to it.
More stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully come to it, right?
Tires and wheels are next.
Yeah.
I got to upgrade that.
Figure out how to put a lift kit on it with all the custom suspension that's already on there. Put some 48s on there, some 44s.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to pick that one
Super
up.
Swamper boggers.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to pick that one up.
Yeah, I kind of like it
But
the way
I do
it
want
sits.
some new tires and wheels.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you know, like we mentioned before, the Adventure trailer got a lot of work to do on it, so that comes as like a total package kit where you can hook up to the trailer and ride out.
Bugging out. It's just the second video, and I mean, we got more stuff to do to mine, got more stuff to do to it, got more stuff to do to the trailer. Heck, we might even convince Steve to let us customize old Betsy out there.
I've been customizing it.
Plain Jane.
I've been working on that for him.
So as always, we appreciate you guys watching, and we'll be back with another customization video and on the vehicles here. You know, if you see the COVID-19 quarantine vehicle riding down the road, give us a wave. We'll honk back at you.
No, it doesn't have a horn.
Dang, that's the next upgrade we got to do.
Flash our lights at you.
We'll flash our lights at you.
Very cool.
It doesn't have a horn.
It doesn't. I tried it. Meep, meep. We can say hey through the speaker.
We'll see you on the next video. We got to go put a horn in this thing.
See ya.